5 major challenges in transformation. Good morning, Miranda. Good morning, Peter.
G'day, Keith.
Hi, morning.
Transformation fatigue. Now, this is one where I guess organisations just feel like they're changing forever. What's your thoughts, Peter? I mean, how does fatigue set in, and what do you look for, and what do you fix?
Keith, everyone is in a wartime scenario all the time. When I first, a little bit of history, my first job as a chief information officer was in 1997. That's a while ago. And I had two drivers to not change anything. One was the Premier of Queensland, who instructed all of his ministers that we've been successful so far, we've come a long way, now we're just going to sit there and take advantage of it and we're not going to change a thing. That was great. We've got an emerging internet and all sorts of opportunities and we're not going to change anything. And on the other side, I had a bunch of my people come to me and say, look, it's been a really tough couple of years. Wow, we just can't take this anymore. We've just got change fatigue. We just need to stabilise a few things and not do anything. Now, it took me a while to figure out how to approach this, but really, over time, I've come to a view on it, and that is everything else is changing around you all the time. It's not an option to take either of those two positions, but we have to make executives feel that it's safe and achievable to transform and do new things. And we have to make our staff feel, through experience, that it's actually not a problem. You can do that without it being a stressful, worrying thing. It should be easy to do. So organisations should be configured so that it's easy to transform, that you can do it confidently, and the executives aren't going to be in a panic that it's not going to work.
I mean, is it a case where those folks were working more than their 8 hours a day or 7 or whatever the times were? Were they holding down two jobs during a transformation effort? I mean, from that scenario, I completely understand. If you're always in a state of having to do my day job and run a project, it would be terrible to be in that state, and it absolutely would fatigue. I would have thought an organisation would resource around that appropriately so that they have the right balance in play.
Well, they probably didn't resource around that, but there's another position on that as well. If your change transformation initiatives aren't properly supported and understood by the organisation, then even little things that you do are going to create some level of aggro. At one point, and I was working for the Department of Transport, we did a review of the change load we were inflicting on our frontline counters. And we worked out that in the course of a year, we were getting them to change 73 separate things. Now, these people didn't love us because every time we'd come near them, they'd go, not you again, you're going to change a whole bunch of things. Now, the problem isn't that we had to change all those things. Those things change because of legislation half the time. I don't ever say about whether or not they change. It's how we did it and how easy we made it as an organisation to make those changes flow through. And that's the issue. You can't stop it, but you've got to have your whole organisation, as I said earlier, configured so that change, it doesn't hurt you, that change isn't painful. And this is absolutely achievable, but it takes investment, and that's what people don't do.
When I hear you guys talk, and when I hear the industry talk about transformation, is how we actually view it. It's, to me, and this could be just my perspective on this. I see that we sort of set it as a destination, that we're going to somewhere through all of this work, yet the pace of change and the amount of new things that are getting thrown at us, that it's actually just a continuum of a journey into somewhere into the future. Like, there's that mindset that this is going to stop at some point in time, and people are waiting for it to stop. But I think it's not going to stop. Sorry. It's like
I think what you're saying is spot on. In fact, if anything, it looks like it's going to be accelerating. New competitive models, reaction, having to change the way your business performs to stay in business. In some businesses, others just to meet what's happening across the road. So I couldn't agree more. It needs to be. I think it needs to be monitored. Definitely needs to be resourced, and probably brought in and accepted as a constant, Miranda. That's a really good point, because if it's not, people are going to feel like they can hold the homestead down while they're actually making change as well. And to be in that state for any length of time is certainly not healthy for anyone.
One of the things I see happening all the time here is that executives and boards, people who aren't involved directly with the transformation initiatives, all think that this change is a one-off. I'm going to throw together a project team. They're going to go away and do it. Then I'm going to shut them down because I don't want to keep spending money on that, and we'll go back to normal. Now, the reason that change hurts everyone so much is because they haven't set their organisation up to be able to do it effectively. So they haven't actually got everybody ready to go to optimise a transformation initiative. So many times you say, well, where's your program office? Oh, we don't have one of those. It's the only project we're going to do. Where's your architecture team? Oh, well, we don't design much here, so we don't have one of those. Where's your business analysts? Well, we didn't really need any of those. We got a few people in from the business.
They contact.
Yeah,
the vendor, and we're fine. Yeah.
We've got some
techniques. So that's Miranda's absolutely dead right. These things aren't going away. People will have a pipeline of major initiatives for the next 20 years. I can't see an end to that. Yet over and over in assignments, we go and see organisations, and they haven't set themselves up for it. They haven't invested in the capabilities to do it.
The other thing that we see all of the time, which is a classic, setup for challenge and contributor to this, is that business as usual people who are outside the initiative are being called into these initiatives to help, but they're not given the leave or the space or the okay to be contributing significant amounts of their time to these initiatives, because their skill sets are critical to make them successful, but they're just not officially given the tip to be able to contribute. So, this causes stress for most good people, because they want things to work well. They want to do their best for these organisations, but the organisations aren't actually giving them the freedom to be able to deliver to that.
We talked about earlier that people are motivated to do the right thing at work, and they all deserve some respect in what they're doing. And those big change initiatives like an ERP, you'll find that they'll change business processes pretty considerably. And the people who are having those changes made in their workspace, they deserve an opportunity to have a contribution to that, because they've done a million workarounds in the last 10 years. They've figured out how certain problems happen that are unique to that organisation. They know exactly what it means. So to be arrogant enough not to take their advice is a recipe for disaster. Plus, it's just terrible for the culture. It's all part of working together to make that change work more effectively. And there's some education involved in that, because quite a lot of people, when we're doing those transformational changes, they say, well, we've done it like this for the last 30 years. Why should we change because of a piece of software? They don't understand that we're not buying a piece of software. We're buying a best practice business process, and we're looking to get the organisation aligned to it. But they still will have a lot of input to make in that process.
And I guess with that too, there's a HR risk. If someone's been in that situation for a long time, not only are they exceptionally high value to the organisation, but they have a propensity to move on because they're the one that's been flogged the most, maybe underappreciated, and nothing like removing your legacy of improvement for the last 5 years and all that. If you like, all that fatigue that you've acquired just by moving on and start afresh. And your current organisation can't augment a similar experience for you, you can expect them to consider moving on as a result. Okay.
Well, back to what Miranda said about vision, right? We've got to set the vision right. We think you've done a fantastic job in the last 5 years, and you've got lots of skills and knowledge about how our organisation works. And your vision is to move to this new business process. Can you help us get there? Is perhaps a better way than saying, look, when you come in next Monday, all those things will be different. Here, read this form.